Hey, bonjour. Dinaway Dog. Welcome to another edition of the Blue Green Ocean Road with your host, David R.R. Stenberg. Me, I'm Captain Morgan of the SS Poop Deck. There's quite a poop deck this morning. Had to fight numerous piles of dog dung, chicken dung, sprayed the whole deck down clean. Now I'm ready for our awesome international broadcast, YouTube broadcast. So what's
Good.
going on?
Not much, buddy. Um, I came back from work tonight.
You,
I worked last night.
So, are you working 7 nights a week, or
Yep,
are you working?
that's me. Except Mondays. I took the
Wow.
Mondays off, so it's not going to be any problem.
Okay.
Yeah, which means
You
I'm
gotta have
free.
some time off,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
I agree. But
Well, I know third shift gives you a great opportunity to catch up on your reading and all the other things, but I think on me, it takes its toll,
oh yeah,
you
me
know.
too. I'm not. No, I'm tired a lot. Um, because so many things come up. Yeah, I miss out on some sleep. I didn't get much yesterday. Um, I went in. It seems like the more I really need to fall asleep, the harder it is to do it. If I'm desperate for it, you know. So I'm adjusting to this one. I'm just adjusting. I haven't been on third long. It's only been like a month. So
Sometimes I have trouble sleeping. Well, most nights, I wake up maybe 2 o'clock in the morning. Then there's like the parade starts. The parade of everything I've done wrong in my life starts.
yeah, I think
Everything I should have done better, everything I've neglected, everything that I should do that I haven't paid attention to. It just starts this mad parade, and it's relentless. It just goes over and over.
I actually physically tell it to shut up. Sometimes I say it out loud. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, you gotta
Uh,
tell that voice to shut up. Um,
I notice like there's 5 levels of sleep too. It's like the number one, it's like you're wide awake. Well, actually, I should say number five, you're wide awake. You're trying to count down, so you play this countdown in your mind. Five is wide awake. Four is getting into like, like a dreamy, like, oh, I feel tired state. Number three is the actual transition between tiredness and sleep. Number four is actual sleep. And number five is the real deep sleep number one is the real deep sleep that you really need. And I tend to fluctuate between, four and three, you know, any little disturbance, in the area, whether it's a cat moving in the room, maybe my wife moving, it sets me right back to five, and I have to do the slow descent countdown, try to get to at least three, if not four.
yeah, I had everything going
So
against me
anyway,
yesterday. They brought in a wood chipper and then and chewed up a bunch of branches. Then the leaf blowing, stuff like that. Daytime stuff.
yes. So when I was living in Warwick doing the
Uh,
third shift boogie, it was relentless.
I
It was just
remember.
absolutely relentless. There are those that use the leaf blower on a daily basis, if nothing else, just to hear themselves, go up and down the street, dusting the street with the leaf blower.
I remember.
Just,
You showed me. You showed me a neighbor to the left. That guy, he went out and like chased 3 leaves off his lawn and went back inside. That little plot. He had a
yeah,
little plot.
was his, a part of his prestige, I guess. His neighborly prestige is how he kept his lawn.
Yeah.
And he would be on his knees and in the lawn. I'd see him during the day, and he'd actually have a little pair of clippers, and he'd actually remove any, like he had a certain species of grass that he wanted on his lawn, and anything that deviated from that species of grass is was removed. He'd sit there and remove it, even strand by strand, bit by bit, piece by piece, until only that one species of grass prevail. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but out here in rural white trash land,
Yeah.
if it's green, it's called a farmer's lawn. If it's green, it's lawn. You don't poison for anything else.
Oh yeah.
There's probably thousands of varieties of green plants that grow in your lawn, and all of them are green, and all of them trim up nicely when you mow them with your lawnmower, and they do look like lawn, especially from a distance.
Yep.
But you don't have to get maniacal about it. You don't have to poison your lawn to keep it that way. It's actually probably healthier to have a variety of species of plant life in your lawn. But anyway, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, my lawn was like that. It's crabgrass and shit. Looked fine cut.
Yeah,
They just get unruly
looks
after they grew
wonderful.
up, because they all grow at different heights. So you just
I
mow it.
know.
Fucking now it's
And
back
you
to
got the clover flowering, and you got the
yeah. I didn't give a
dandelions
shit.
blooming, and you got
Dandelions,
the
I think
chicory, a chicory.
I'm not gonna sweat it.
Yeah.
I didn't like having a lawn
Uh,
anyway.
yeah. Well,
Fucking
it's
hated
it's
it.
hard. It's well, I kind of like it. It delineates between if you didn't, you'd have woods right up to your doorstep, and the woods will take over. Within like a few years, you'll have trees right in your doorstep if you're not. And it's a way of keeping the woods at bay, trying to keep, the forest from encroaching on your existence, you
Good way
know.
to look at it. Um, I always like crushed rock. I thought crushed rock is good. Like they have out in Arizona and shit. You sheet of
Yeah, well,
heavy plastic.
they do that out in the Southwest. I mean, it's called an environmental lawn where you're not something that it's more natural. It doesn't require intensive water
No, rocks
usage
don't
to
need
make.
water.
Yeah, so you
Rocks are
have
fine.
you know rocks
They
and
don't
sand
grow.
and plants that don't require lots of water
Yeah, like cactus
to
and shit.
thrive.
Sure.
Yeah,
They look
and I
nice
like it
like that.
looks wonderful. Yeah, no doubt about that. Anyway, last week I wasn't here, but I was looking for a place. The motel we stayed at had a nice little pond in the back of it, and had a nice view in the horizon of like Cathedral Mountain. And I was going to set up there, but I couldn't get the signal behind the motel
Yeah.
to do the broadcast. But it would have been a nice spot. It's got a nice, it had some lawn chairs out there. Had a nice little pond. Some green space plus a nice mountain, and you had the sun coming up and the sun shining off the mountain and the fall colors and all their glory. Tell you, it was up on the Kank that the day before that, and I saw colors up there I don't think I've ever seen before. You know how like colors, yeah, it's like a visual feast. It's a visual format, but it's also you feel the colors, especially if your brain is deprived of some oxygen, like at a high altitude. It's like you're feeling the colors. It's like you're inhaling the colors. It's
Oh.
like, oh my God, I can feel what that intense orange and red, I can feel it, and that intense blue sky. I can feel it in my bones. It's like I'm having a visceral color experience,
It ain't
and
that
I
tripping.
wow,
That's just your brain got
yeah.
rewired that time. You know.
Or your tripping actually helps you breaks down that barrier that we build up, in
Oh yeah.
day-to-day existence, that for survival.
Yeah,
You
you
know that
learn
thing
things.
though, but it's like your brain discriminates. Your brain has to because there's so much input, you know, everything from, vision, hearing, smell, senses and stuff. Our senses aren't capable. Well, I mean, maybe they are capable of receiving all this input, but if the brain isn't big enough to process all this information, so our brain learns to discriminate, kind of like leave out things that are just too, that will overload our system of perception. You know what I'm saying? So our brain, a lot of the mystics and yogis and stuff, they train themselves to remove those barriers and try to perceive a little bit more than what our brain is, has decided to do on a purely survival basis, because I mean, we can only interpret so much input. Our brains are not that huge, or at least they're not trained to be
Oh
that
no.
able to deal with all that input. It's just sometimes we get glimpses of it, like we're on the Kankamagas Highway, and we're in a beautiful place on a beautiful day, and it's just almost overwhelmingly beautiful. And your brain kind of like drops the barrier a little bit, allows a little more input, you know, and then it quickly shuts. As soon as you hit the traffic, you got to kind of like narrow your field of
There we go.
perception
Right.
to deal with traffic on the way back. I don't know. It was a wonderful experience. It's something you, like anything else, it's like going to see the Grand Canyon. You're like, yeah, I've seen a million pictures of it and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, it's really nice. But when you're there, your senses get a little overwhelmed at what you're looking at, and you can't help but stand there in awe, at what you're looking at. It's like this, your pictures can't do this justice. It's like it takes on more dimensions. Your perception of the place needs, more dimensions of perceiving, other than just a two-dimensional picture. It's just almost overwhelmingly beautiful.
Smell has a lot to do with it. The smell.
Yep. Oh yes. Smell, the background vibration. It's like, it's the same thing with going to Hawaii. It's like everybody says, oh yeah, it's paradise, beautiful, all this other stuff. You see pictures of it, and you're like, yeah, 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 whatever. And you finally go there, and it's like, holy shit, this place is paradise. And I noticed, like, standing there, like, just standing around, like, day to day, just looking, there's like this background vibration. Can't quite put my finger on it, but it's like this other form of perception I mean, I don't usually use. It's just like this weird background vibration. It's very pleasant. It's very subtle, and it's very pleasant. And
Hmm.
it, it was just like, it was just there, and it was just wonderful. And I noticed it when I wasn't there anymore, too. Um,
Yeah. Like when I went to, yeah, I clearly remember like when we were when we were just approaching the Philippines, the smell changed, and it was exciting, and you could just see the outline of the islands. Like at dawn, they had a
uh,
certain color and a smell, and that was the shit. That was the morning. Also, part of the smell had it was diesel because I had a diesel ship. That was part of it too. So when I smell diesel, I
uh,
think of the Philippines because they have a lot of diesel trucks and shit. All third world.
you think of the ancient mariners who are sailing across the seas in these ships for months on end, drinking and eating swill, and smelling each other's crotches and then all of a sudden you come upon a tropical island, that
And
has
get
all these
killed.
beautiful smells and these beautiful sights to be had and beautiful weather to experience. What a friggin' what a whammy that would put on you. So all you guys stuck on board ship, and all of a sudden you're at the Philippines, Subic Bay, where almost
Yeah,
anything's possible, I guess.
we were giddy.
Anything's available.
Well, just getting off the
Yeah.
fucking thing. We're gonna get a beer. We're
Uh,
gonna just fucking not be on the ship. It was the yeah, it was the shit. That was great. So there's that smell. So there's that, you know,
uh,
and the way it looked. It's a
so the Nimitz was a
no, it's
diesel
Kitty Hawk. I
craft,
was on the
right?
Kitty Hawk. Nimitz is a nuke. It's a nuke.
Oh, you were on the Kitty Hawk. That's right. I'm
Yeah, it's
sorry,
old.
I had
It's old.
forgotten.
It's been cut
Old.
up years ago. It's over.
Oh, okay.
There is no ship. It's razor blades or whatever. It's your bumper. It's your engine block or whatever the
Uh,
fuck.
sure. It's a million cans and bottles. I think. Anyway, yeah. I I remember like let's see, going to school in Providence when I was 16. I had spent most of my youth out in the out in the rural setting, so to
Yeah,
speak, smelling chicken shit and all this
sure.
other stuff, and then going to school, commuting to Providence and commuting and noticing the bus smells, the
Yeah,
downtown smells of heavy diesel fumes and
that.
things like that, and gradually they cleaned that up to a point where it's actually you don't really smell that downtown.
No.
But when I went to Moscow and I was in the downtown area and that whole smell returned, like the heavy diesel
Yeah.
smells of the dry, the unregulated exhaust of all these cars and trucks and everything else. It was brought it me right back. It's just like the same experience I had just going to Providence for the first time.
Yeah,
But,
diesels
but
don't
yeah,
stink anymore. Um, my sister-in-law had a Peugeot, and we drove all over the place in it. And one day she stopped and she started putting diesel in it, and I went, "Oh, this is a diesel?" She goes, "Yeah." I couldn't tell. I never smelled. You couldn't tell. It didn't make that noise. It just sounded like a car. That was a long time ago. That's when I became aware that they can do that. You get a big old Cummings,
yeah,
in a tractor, that's going to stink up the place. But it'll start. It'll start. It'll always start.
yeah.
There won't be no not stop it starting. You know, Diesels are great.
So they've got pretty good at that, like regulating the exhaust of diesel.
Well, I think it's more like nobody would
Thing.
buy a diesel if it stunk, like a for a car.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I think that was the reason they did it. I don't think it had anything to do with being told to do it. I think it just wouldn't sell. You know. I would
right.
like the reason I would have never bought one is because it stunk, right? And I was surprised that car didn't stink. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Now here's a car, here's a diesel I would own. Because it doesn't smell like diesel. It doesn't sound like it either. It was
Uh,
it was pretty good, pretty good car. They had other ones in there. They
yeah,
had
well,
propane. Out of Pepe, he had his car. He had propane tanks in his trunk. He used that, but he could switch over. He could do both. He had a switch back there. But riding around with propane tanks in the trunk, you know, two of them. I don't
hmm.
know. Probably don't want to do that.
I mean, what's the difference, really? You're riding
You're
around with
running.
a big tank of gas tank, gas. I think gas is more flammable than propane, but propane's under pressure, so it tends to shoot out and make flamethrowers and stuff like that. But I don't know. I guess it's whatever, we live with bombs, I guess. We don't realize how dangerous our lives
Oh
are.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You you burned to death in them. I saw. Yeah, if you see pictures of cars that have been burned, people melt into like pork grease. They leave that in the springs and shit. What's left of the
Pork
guy.
pork grease.
Yeah, if you get caught in there, like if you get you're front ended and you're pinned and the fucking thing catches fire, that's a bad way to go, man. Holy shit.
Yeah.
At least like when you die in a house fire, smoke inhalation gets you long before the flames get near you. You know, so I'm almost merciful, but not in a car accident, man. Nope. But I mean, cars
Nope.
now they're caged. Their cages are pretty good. It's less likely. The old cars did it. The old cars did it all the time. The old cars used to have
Yeah.
that steering column. It was just a javelin going straight towards your chest. It was just one shot,
This is
right?
yes.
That was yeah.
Yes, it was.
Drivers
Yep.
always died. Always.
Yep.
If you get a front end collision in an older car, you were done. Volkswagens, the old Fords, probably the Mustangs. Now they're all U jointed. Now it's by wire. Right? The wheel isn't really. There's nothing. It's just hooked up to electronics. You know, there's no shaft. There's no steering column. It's just a steering wheel. And you can tell the
Yeah. Well,
response
they
is
have.
weak, right? You can always tell when the car's got the gas station, the gas pedal is wire. It's electronically sent. All these things are just doing nothing except sending a signal. And there's a lag. A lot of times there's a lag, you know.
Hmm.
So you have to know it's there. We got a Nissan Rogue that's like that. What a pain in the ass that thing is. It's all by wire, so it doesn't respond right away. So you have to allot for that too. Not like there's traffic coming, but you have to allot for the fact that you're going to be slow rolling out. You know, there's going to be the hesitation. You know, and the other thing is the fucking thing turns itself off at stop signs. Like if you stop, it just cuts out.
Yeah, that my truck does that.
That's
The
bad. I think you can turn that off, George.
first, you can turn it off, but you have to turn it off each time you get into the car. You can't.
Oh, is that right?
You have to remember to turn it off, or you're just sitting there and all of a sudden your motor cuts out. It's like, oh shit! I forgot to hit the switch, and
Ugh.
there's no way to deactivate it. So permanently deactivate is like one of those things, the agreements they make with the EPA when they have to demonstrate, greater and greater, less and less emissions
And fuel
problems
efficiency.
and greater gas mileage. It's like
Yeah.
every year they have to demonstrate better gas mileage and lower emissions in these vehicles, and they have to get really creative with the ways they do it. You know, they do it at the expense of performance.
Always, yeah.
And
Long time ago when they started doing it, um, and you could still do this. The first thing you do when you bought a vehicle is pull all the pollution devices off it, and it started running great. You just turn it back into an engine. I did that with that. Remember that red Dodge pickup I had? That had a bunch of shit on it. I pulled it all off, and it was just a slant six. But the carburetor looked funny. There was all these hoses coming off it with screws in the end of it that I'd cut. Yeah, I cut it right.
yeah,
If the truck started running rough, I just put it back. Right? If I pull something else off and it just kept running or ran better, that was off. But I'd plug it. You have to plug it. So yeah,
I know there was that era between the 70s and through the 80s when it was all vacuum lines. It was like a nightmare of vacuum lines, and every year there were more and more vacuum lines. Instead of electronics regulating all these emission problems and emissions controls, they had vacuum lines, and if one vacuum line leaked, then you say, well, you have to go there with a can of like maybe uh, starter fluid or something like that, trying to find the leak in one of the vacuum hoses and stuff. It was a nightmare in itself. But then again, you had to have all that stuff hooked up because you went to go to get the thing inspected. If the thing's not,
yeah. I mean,
you know,
this was the sweet place before they started sniffing the tailpipe. You know, it was before that. There was between times. So I had that pickup. It was a 1980 um, Ram D100, I think, and it had a smog pump. It was belt driven. It had its own belt, and Dave, the mechanic, he told me, he says, "That's probably that thing." I said, "What does it do?" He says, "It doesn't do fucking anything, right?" And so he said, "Just cut the belt." I cut the belt, and it fucking started running great. And then I just unplugged it from everything too.
uh,
This is belt driven. They call it a smog pump. And like you had you get a new one was like, why am I buying? Why? I'm not doing it. It doesn't do anything.
uh,
So that was that. And I was allowed to do it. I could do it because nobody was testing to see if the tailpipe had clean emissions yet. I hadn't started doing that yet. What was really bad was the Buick. That Buick, it was half electronic and half mechanical, so it wasn't very good at anything. You know, I remember that. I had shit. Some of it was mechanical though. It was still mechanical. Like I think I had like a mechanical choke, stuff like that. You know, but then it had electronic shit too. I think I had a little brain for idle. I
yeah,
don't remember. All I know is it never fucking ran right. It just ran like shit. And I drove it for a while.
yeah. It's I know, like we talk about this a lot. It's like cars now. It's like used to be a lot of things we can do, we could fix, we could tweak, and things like that we could do, but now it's like so complex. Everything, if everything is not in balance, everything is not talking to each other. if everything is not jiving well with the computer, then you're all fucked up. The vehicle will run like shit. You won't get it inspected. It's just like a nightmare of things
It
like
is
that. Uh,
for sure.
my brother's Honda CRV, I think it is, like a little four-wheel drive SUV or
Oh yeah,
something like that. He swore off Toyotas. He swore off Hondas.
really?
No, he swore off like Toyotas and Subarus and everything else. Now he's into Hondas, but this
Yeah, me too.
air conditioning unit has given him crap because he's trying to replace a pulley that went bad on him, and for some reason that you can't find a pulley that actually fits. Just some weird rogue air conditioning unit, and then all the others are off by like a quarter of an inch, and that he can't, put the belt back on unless there's the proper pulleys on this thing.
Well,
And it's like he's pulling this hair out of his head trying to find, like what is the problem with this?
well, you got a different compressor, and then you kind of you machine a different bracket. You figure out a different place to mount it. Is all. If you
Yeah,
really
well
want it.
the pulley is right on the unit itself, and so you can't put a spacer on the thing because the spacer is a centrifugal clutch
Well,
that
you just get a
engages
different one.
while the motor's running.
You just get
Uh,
a compressor off a different car. It's not even that car, and then just make that line up.
uh,
You get one that's running good. That doesn't cost a lot. It's just air conditioning. They all work the same.
the old,
Just get it to spin.
yeah,
That's all you have to do. I mean, if you care,
the
I
spring,
would just not give a shit. I would drive around with the windows down in the summer. I mean, this ain't Arizona, you know.
uh, I don't even use my air conditioner unless my
Me
wife's
neither.
in the car, and
I'm not in it long enough. I'm not in it long enough. Maybe 5 minutes at a time. I think my drive back here was 7, maybe 10. It wasn't
that's
10
true.
because I got here before 10 passed. So, and I left it right at 7. Nobody out there. I have this window.
Nobody.
They have this. The environmental stuff sucks, but there's a way to get by it. I got there's servos in there, right? And cause the gears for some reason are plastic, so they break. So like when you put it on, it says like I want it to be 73 in here. So that thing's always fucking around, trying, getting it just, always just paying attention to the temperature of the cabin. So,
Right.
but I read in my manual, it says if you put it all the way to high, it turns all that off because you want high. Or all the way low, it doesn't do that. So those two settings, high and low. Oh, there's off too. I had that. I drove around with it off a long time. Just off. Fuck it. Off. Just fuck off. And then I just recently um, I've needed the defroster, so I finally read the manual. Almost 2 years with the car, and I've never turned that fucking unit on. No shit. Like in the winter, it never came up. I could just scrape. I could scrape the ice off of whatever the fuck was on it, and then go around the window so my breath doesn't cause any, condensation on the inside. You know what I mean? And I drove in like that, like it was a
Mm.
snowmobile. I wasn't going far, like I said. So I was just going around. I just didn't feel like fucking with it. Um, you just see the manual. There's like 4 different vehicles this manual for, right? So they're all these. They call them by numbers. They don't call it like the Accord. They call it XL 003 liter, whatever the fuck, right? So it says accept these, and it wasn't even. It was a nightmare. I had to fucking. Actually, I just photocopied the fucking chapter and went in there with highliner, you know. And it was sometimes it would say both these models, and sometimes it would say accept both these models. So it had two types of ways of. Never mind. It's that's why I drove around for a year and a half without turning the heat on.
Well, good on you if you can do it, I guess.
I
I
did.
don't
I just
know.
did it recently because it came up. I'm driving home and I never had sun in my face, and I had sun in my face now, right? And I couldn't see fucking shit. I had to pull over
Uh,
and get out
you
rags.
know that, yeah, I remember those. Well, There was back in the day we had the like each one of those vent switches were connected mechanically by a cable to the vent that would open, whether it was in your dash or was the heater below and whatnot. So
Yeah.
there's really no servo gears to grind out on you or anything like that. So I get in my wife's Subaru and it has like climate control. You gotta like, what? How the hell does this thing work? You know, it intuitively knows when it's time to defrost the windows and not. You know, and you're like, what? You know, and
Oh,
sometimes
good.
it's just not. It's you know, it's not. I don't
It's
know.
not necessary.
It's not catching a clue as to what you really need sometimes, and it's not intuitive at all. It's very frustrating to use.
Yeah, they
And my
suck.
wife's, oh, we'll just do this. Oh, just do that. So I got to relearn this thing every time I get in the car, you know, and it's like overly complex, like everything else with cars now. They're like overly complex and ridiculous,
Yep.
you know.
And most times you got to find the thing while driving. You know, I just give
Yeah,
up. I said,
yeah,
okay, I'm not doing it now. I've got to park and get out the book. You know, I
yeah,
can't do this on the highway. You know, it just will never
yeah.
happen. That's
Well,
why.
this was designed so that you wouldn't have to look at it. You just get in, and it would automatically assume that you know you set it for one temperature, and it would always you know, climatize the car to that temperature, you know. So if you always wanted like maybe 76 degrees in your car or 78 degrees in your car, it would automatically tune for that and the humidity and everything else, air conditioning, heat, whatever you needed to maintain that climate and stuff like that. But it doesn't always work that way. You know, when you get in the car in the morning, when you want to go to work, you want to blast the defrosters and shit to try to see through your windows
Yeah,
so you can get to work in the morning. You don't want to wait until it decides to figure out how to
yeah.
balance everything,
And
you know,
if
the
it's perfect,
humidity, the moisture, the
yeah,
heat, the frost on it. You know, maybe if you started it up and let it sit there for 10 minutes before you got into it, went to work, maybe it would be all right. But
it would
that's
probably
not
turn
how I
itself off
operate.
because you weren't there. Right? You come out, it's off. What the fuck? You weren't here.
Well, it's
Fucking car. Quit thinking.
exactly.
I
Oh,
have
it's
buildings like that
intuitive.
too. I miss light switches. I really do, because I get to places where I can see out into the sky, right?
Yeah,
And it's beautiful. But then the lights automatically come on for me, you know, and ain't
yeah,
shit I can do about it. Not a fucking thing. I hate that. I hate that so much. I used to like. It used to be really satisfying, like at night when everybody was gone, to get to that big box of breakers and just shut everything down. Click, 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 click. You know what I mean? That was
yeah.
fucking great. You know, if I needed light, I could click it on. But I was I turned everything off. I turned it into, you know, just like uh, just like the blackout in London, man. And then you can see out the
Yep.
windows and all that shit. Anyway, that's gone.
Well, old timers like us, we're used to having control over our world,
I
you
want
know, and
control.
now we're transitioning into a world where there's no control, you know,
We've
or
transitioned, George. We're not transitioning. We're there. Oh, we're fucking there.
we have no control over anything anymore.
No, yeah, really. I guess that was always the case, right? But now it's really just so
Uh,
blatant. I mean, even like the smallest things, like turning a light on,
all the little
even
things
those
we
are
could
gone.
claim that we could control, yeah, it's certainly not the big picture, you know. Certainly, like day to day, you know, like global politics, regional, you know, state, federal politics, we have very little control over that.
No.
I mean, we're online. We like to think that we do, or like our
Oh,
opinions
I'm sorry.
matter or
I'm not
anything like
online,
that.
George.
You know, so uh,
No, fuck that shit. Um,
I
oh,
know.
it's bad. Um, it's so addicting. It was hard to fuck. I tell you, there was withdrawal when I got off Facebook a long time ago, but I bet it's even
Yeah,
fucking harder now. I bet. I bet they've gotten
it
really good
is.
at fucking grabbing your brain. And
It is.
you know that
That's
TikTok's really fucking something. You don't follow things. I don't know. Do you ever use TikTok? Have you ever used that one?
well, no, not directly,
Oh
but
no.
indirectly, because so much of what's on Facebook and on YouTube are TikTok elements, elements that
Yeah,
were
but you
created
choose
on
what to
TikTok.
watch on Facebook and that.
Uh,
TikTok doesn't even. You don't follow anybody. You just start looking at it. and it starts
Right.
figuring out what to send you next, and it turns out to be right about it all.
Yeah. And
Oof.
well, I mean, so does Facebook and YouTube to a certain
Not like
extent
that.
too. They do,
Not like
but
that. That
yeah,
that's it's a new. That's yeah. Not
uh,
no no not like that. They're gonna be. It turns people into zombies, man. It's just
yeah.
because you don't have control of it at all. It figures you out, or maybe I don't know. Just somehow gets where you can't turn away. My property manager started doing that years ago, and she like there was a change in her, huge. You know,
Yeah.
she said, "Well, she ever use TikTok?" And I go, "Nah." And then, oof, bye. Holy shit.
Wow.
It was just like that. I just noticed, people I know, and I know what I know how they work. And when I found out, oh, that's so bad. Okay, stay away from that. It's like crack. It's just bad for you. You know.
Oh, it is very much. I mean, it's the same kind of endorphins that crack that we respond to with crack and whatnot.
Well, it could
But
potentially turn you into a giant asshole, like someone who suddenly decides to want to shoot up something because it got you so worked up about something. You know.
oh yeah, I would certainly attribute that to the latest shooter. That
Yeah.
when I
They,
killed Charlie Kirk.
the last person, yeah, they're always texting. So, yeah, they had a post. They were on social media. There's a shock. You know what I mean? Yeah, we got all this shit here. They left stuff behind. Whatever.
Yeah,
So I don't like being
trying to
bothered.
hose down.
I see that F, like the Facebook F, on it just makes me nauseous. So, how could you just fucking open that thing? You know, when we started, it was just us, right? We were friends, and the post came out. Sort of like how we text each other now. That texting group that we
Yeah,
use. That's what Facebook was. But we have it. We have old Facebook. We use that text group. That's it. That's what Facebook was, and it was great. But then remember that was one time you posted something in the group, and we thought we made a group in there, and we thought that everything was fine, like we could do whatever we wanted in there, and then it turned out we couldn't. I think you one of your posts just disappeared for some fucking reason, and then we
yes,
were going like, what the fuck is that?
yes, it
You
did.
know? And it turns out that it said that you violated some fucking thing. Like you didn't. It's just like that was the thing that day. That's how that shit is. Today they're deciding that you can't do that. Tomorrow I'll be fine again. So yeah, remember? There's just horse shit. It's a vicious circle. Yeah. Now we
The
have this.
vicious circle. Wow, I remember now.
Yeah, and it started to suck because
Wow.
it was fucking with us. And I noticed that you'd say you posted something, and it decided that I didn't need to see that one. It was even
Right.
deciding what I would see out of the group that I assumed that we ran without any interference. So that was it. That was pretty. I was on my way out by then. The thing is, all these people that I'll lose contact with. Well, I didn't lose contact with the important people. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
the other ones weren't that important in the first place because I don't even remember who they were. I remember they were from my past. You know, uh, various.
I know. I think I my uncle unfriended me on the Facebook.
What,
Uh, yeah, because
Uncle John?
I didn't agree. Yeah,
Oh,
because I didn't agree with him that all that Nazi saluting was actually Nazi saluting.
yeah,
So he felt like I was.
that's the problem too.
Yeah,
That is a big problem. Um, I lost. There was this guy I knew growing up, right? He was pretty cool, and I got in touch with him once, like I don't know, 10 years ago, say. So it had been like 30 years maybe between it, right? And we were good friends when we were kids. So I'm texting him, and I texted something, and I look down, and then I look up. It's gone south. I said something sideways, I guess, like I was kidding,
yeah,
but you know, he took it wrong, and that's fucked up because you can't see each other's face. You're not. It's just words, and if you're not specific in a text, you can go all kinds of different directions that you didn't intend, and don't even think to do a joke or just kidding kind of thing,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, that I learned that was a bad thing. That was it. That was over. You know, click. You know, fuck you, and that sucked because you know that just sucked. That really sucked. And then I quit doing that. I quit doing anything like that when I was texting people. I just write matter of fact shit. You know what I mean? Exactly what I mean. I know you
Mm.
can't see my face, so you can't see that I'm kidding or that I'm serious. You know, you can just imagine that you can take a sentence a lot of different ways if you don't write he said with a smirk on his face or something like that. Quit
Yeah.
writing all
You
that
know, and
shit.
people I thought would know better, like my uncle, didn't.
Yeah.
You know, and so it was very disappointing. To, of course, he probably says the same thing like me. Well, you shouldn't joke around about Nazi salutes and stuff like that. You know, who cares? It's just a stupid, silly thing I thought, to worry about. And anyway, it's kind of silly.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
silly. It's a fucking silly world, man.
it is.
Just gotta fucking, just look right in front of you. If things are all right, then it's all right. You know,
Right.
run with it.
Got
Be glad it's that way.
chickens.
You know,
I got chickens in the yard.
it's
Beautiful fall weather.
if it goes
This
so, it
weather's
goes.
been absolutely gorgeous. I'm really enjoying it. Hmm. I burned a lot of brush the other day.
Yeah, I was jealous. You told me. You told me about
Oh,
that
it's
burning
great.
mission. And I
This
was going,
this
yeah,
pile was enormous.
yeah,
You
enormous
know,
pile.
this pile
Oh
was
look!
like about 10 feet
Oh
tall,
my
and
God,
then
that
I was
looks
able.
wonderful. That was a
And
lot of fun. Did you? Were you seeing double when you were done?
yeah, pretty much.
Those are the
More
best.
because of the beer I was consuming than anything
Oh yeah,
else.
that's a 30 pack right there. I used to do like when the snowstorm came, I had that snow blower. I got a 30 pack
Yeah.
and just throw it in the snowbanks, right? And just go in there and drink a beer. Um, before I had to, yeah, when I first got back, I didn't have a snow blower at all. I had just a snow shovel. You know, it's kind of the curved ones you can just push. So I would wait till there was an inch, and then I push. Then I just, push it off the surface, right? Just an inch. An inch. Every time there's an inch, I go out there and take an inch off the driveway. Then go back, drink beer, and watch the driveway accumulate another inch. Go out, get that one, right? So
Uh-huh.
even if it was 2 feet, it was like no effort. The only thing I had to do is I had to do a little shoveling at the end when the plow went by. Other than that, and it was carved great because I got right to the edge of the driveway and I was able to throw it. So it was all just
Yeah.
perfectly cut. And I sit there and drink and look at that. Look at my creation. You know.
Yes. Accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was that. Do you remember that
You gotta
cartoon I
take.
had on the wall? It had the three different types of storms. It's like a snowstorm. The guy had well the last one was nor'easter. There was three different types of storms. The nor'easter. The guy's got a snow shovel and a 30 pack. It was in the journal. It was good. It was a good one of those political cartoons. The three different storms. Um, but yeah, the nor'easter had the guy had a 30 pack under his arm and a snow shovel. It's old. I mean, that's not a it's an old one. Back
Still
in the
relevant,
yeah, that
you
was
know.
me. That's why I clipped it out because
You
that
know.
a nor'easter I'd get a 30 pack and I had a snow shovel. It's only shit. That was thank
Well,
you. Thank you whoever cartoonist who don't know me as for
the
shit.
only thing I get anxious about, I don't get anxious about bread and milk. I get anxious about having enough beer to see me through.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with a raw egg when the power goes out anyway. You fucking hard boil them really quick. You know, that's the one I
well,
did.
do you have a camp stove?
Huh? I had a
I
trailer.
mean, do
Matter
you
of
have a
fact,
camp?
what there was a hurricane.
No, no, I mean like where you are now,
What do I have a
where you
stove?
are. Oh, you're talking about back.
Oh yeah, I'm talking
Do you
about
have like
way back.
because like you can like right outside your door there, you can set up a camp stove if you need to.
Nah, not
You
got
know,
that. Uh-uh. But what you
not
could
gonna do
have,
it.
like, when I've had places that had a gas stove, don't give a fuck about electricity at all. There's, you even got heat. You know, just
Yep.
huddle around the burners for a little bit. That's how my trailer was. Yeah. But I did get the heater to work, which was more efficient than having four burners going. In the trailer. I got it to go, and that was nice. That was really nice, and hardly used any like in the summer. I hardly used. I think I used one tank the whole season. But like
Wow.
well, in spring I went through a whole tank. It's getting through spring, but the summer it was just cooking. You know, it was great. I like that trailer. That trailer was awesome. I bought it for $500, George. And it fucking, I had to fucking take care of the roof, but I didn't take care of the roof until I got it back home. The whole time I was up at Bowdish, it leaked, just leaked. I didn't care. Had a little bucket under it.
To think about how many months rent you saved
Oh
doing
yeah.
that.
Well, it was $750 for 6.5 months, and the electricity and water. They had one water line and one plug, to the building. Everything else for it was included. Fucking perfect.
Ah, it's
I think I
getting
stayed.
warm out here. It's gonna be a beautiful,
Yeah, yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
day.
I like October's the shit. October's my favorite. My favorite month. It was nice last night. It was clear too. It's,
Oh yeah, when
oh,
I was watching this, Jesus, stupid show. I can't think of it. The name of it. I can never remember the names of these things. Unless it's an aspect of senility.
that's all right.
We were watching this new Netflix show about these like uh, 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 residential treatment program for teenagers. It was like a drama, like a mystery drama. That they're something that me and the wife could relate to because we both worked at such facilities and stuff. And it's like a Canadian production and it's just really bizarre. Uh, I have no point.
That's
I
all
thought
right.
I had a point,
This
but
this
I have
whole
no point.
podcast has no point.
Oh, that's right. And so I had to take a whisk. That's my point. So as I do, because one of the great privileges of living in a semi-rural town is that you get to go out on your deck without any lights on and take a nice whiz off the deck. And as usual, as I'm taking my piss off the deck, I'm looking up at the sky and I'm looking at, and this is like and Orion starts becoming prominent in the sky again.
Yep.
And so I was admiring that last night.
Oh, you're up late.
Well, I was watching some stupid stuff on Netflix.
Oh,
So
oh, that's
anyway,
cool. I like. There is, there is. I gotta find it, but there is. Oh, I thought you're gonna find anything on these. Ah, there it is. It's the Orion meteor shower. Um, so if you look at Orion, it starts October 2nd and ends November 7th. So you got a whole month. After October 2nd, just keep looking at Orion, and there's a good chance you'll see a meteor coming out of that.
is that the same as the Taurids, or is it
No, they call it the.
different from?
I got a website that alerts me to this shit. So
Okay,
yeah. So the thing they told me yesterday was that October 2nd to start looking at Orion until November 7th. It's called the Orionid Orion with an
Ori-
ID at the end of it. Orionid. Orion. It's funny.
Okay.
Media shower. Just look at it. So I'm calling it the Orion media shower. I don't know why the
Oh, I
ID
will
is
look
there.
at it.
Huh?
It's one of the few things that I can see in is
And
they have a
identify
nice.
readily. You know when you're looking at the
Yeah,
guy.
well, I mean that I can see, because it's got a nice southern exposure,
Hmm.
more or less, above the trees,
That's perfect.
and so
Everything
yeah,
happens in the south. If you look north, it's just a North Star, and it's just going to be there all the
yeah,
time, doing the same shit every night. So you ain't missing nothing behind you anyway. That's all where you want. You want the southern sky. Yeah, that's when the plants go dancing across there. Wherever the sun goes in the daytime, that's where all the fun shit happens at night too. The same path. You know.
hmm,
So once you know that, Jupiter was awesome. Jupiter was getting bigger. Um, it was really bright. It's getting closer. It
where's
goes in
Jupiter these
opposition in
days?
January, I think. So it's getting close. It's coming up
Where's
to us.
where's Jupiter these days? Where can Jupiter be seen?
Told you the south. Look at
The south.
look where the sun goes in the daytime, George. Right at night, that very same area will be where all the planets and shit fly by too, because that's the part of the sky the planets move into. Like I said, if you look north, it's just a North Star and it's static all night. You know what I mean? Nothing happens up there. That's just spinning. It's the same shit every night. Same stars, same all that shit. The south, because you're standing on a rock spinning. That's you're just looking at. You just think of it that way. You're just looking at the universe from that perspective. That's where all the fun shit happens. So yeah, so south is perfect. It's perfect. Um,
Perfect.
I'm working third, so I'm saying that I'm seeing Jupiter, you know, in the wee hours, you around. Uh, but opposition, when it goes to opposition in January, it'll be, it pops up right at sundown, so, you know, you should be up then.
Yes. Well, like I said, I'm up at night. If I have to take a piss, I'm watching TV. That's what I'll do. I'll walk out on the deck here, stand, hang off the deck, look up at the night sky.
Well,
You know.
if you got Orion's belt, right, the next thing over, a really bright
Hmm.
fucker is uh, a Deberon, which is the eye of the bull, right? That's and then you follow that out. The Pleiades is there. If you just naked eye, old eyes, not so good, but it looks like a fuzzball to me, right? Just like there might be a cloud there, but just one.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
take the
that's
binoculars up to it,
Subaru.
it just explodes in stars. It's just this big
Yes,
cluster of fucking stars. It's cool looking.
the Seven Sisters.
Yeah, the Seven Sisters. I found that by mistake. I was just scanning the sky with binoculars. I just grabbed them, and when I got them, I was just looking around. And I went, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And then I found out that was Subaru, and said, "Oh, that's why this is a big deal." And then there's a chapter on Galileo looking at it, seeing more stars than everybody was used to
Uh,
seeing. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, um, the moons around Jupiter are really easy to see. Don't take much. The rings around Saturn take a little more power, but nothing that's not too expensive. That's where I'm at. I can see those two things. And that binoculars. I have most fun with the binoculars. I like binoculars a lot. It's bigger field, and it's brighter light. And like you look up, you don't see a lot of stars. You see some. But binoculars suddenly, it's like I don't know, 50 times more. You can
mm,
see that much more. There's a lot more. You're not seeing everything, but there's a lot more there. So you're coming over early tomorrow, George?
uh,
The time.
yeah. Well, Joyce got the memorial to go to, and I'm coming over too. You gonna have the game on?
Huh?
What's playing Sunday afternoon?
I ain't gonna waste my time on that. You know what I do? I'll have it on, but I never have the volume on. I don't watch football with the
Yeah.
volume on, because I know what's going on. I don't need to be told to buy shaving cream while I'm watching football. So yeah, it'd be on like that. You're really cutting out, George. I don't know what's going
Uh,
on.
yeah. Well, I tell you what, I'll come over at we'll end, Joy will probably be there about 5 or so, and we'll take it from there, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be great.
Okay. Did you
Yeah.
catch that part? Okay. And I'll see you then.
All right. Yeah.
And
This you're cutting out, so let's cut out before Google. Before,
all right.
see you tomorrow.
All right. See you later.
Bye. Bye, George.